Oh, do you want to channel it to your show, your channel?
Oh, it's going to my channel. Yeah.
Oh, it is. Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. How are you doing? I'm Dr. Gail, and this is Val. And thanks for everybody for joining us today. We're going to be talking to Val about everything she does, which is endless. I mean, it's endless. I was like, don't know that I've met anybody who was like similar in that, where you can't really define what you can do. But let me go ahead and say hello to who all of us here right now. And then we're going to really dive deep into Val right now. And she's with Dragonfly Crystals. If you want to know about her YouTube channel and her website, we'll go into that a little bit and let her describe it. But hi, Bora. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us today. Leah, Spirit Detective. Hey, Damaris. Hey, Rossi. Hey, Mary. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, Karen. And Susie 007, Susie's in the background. She'll be manning the chat and watching that. So yeah, and big help. And hey, Seascape. Hey, Teresa. Hey, Kim. Hey, Janet. Thanks for joining us today. Hey, Jules. Learning to listen. I just love that. And so,
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And hey, Amanda. Thanks for joining us today, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started while y'all are coming in. Trancing with Spirit. Thanks, everybody. Like the other day when I started going through the chat, it felt like I was going forever. So we're going to have to go ahead and get started. Hey, Karen Trout. Anyway, I'm going to start with Val. Okay. Val, we're going to go ahead and start just from the very beginning about how you describe yourself, because we are having so much troubles trying to put ourselves in a box, which we cannot do. I mean, I'm sitting there going, about how do I introduce you? And she goes, well, you can introduce me as a psychic medium. I'm going, okay, how exciting is that? We're all psychic mediums. And then she's going, how about intuitive? I'm going, well, okay, we're all intuitive. And then she's going, well, we can do Chandler. Anyway, it was really hard. It's getting so hard to put any of us in a box. I was very fortunate way in the beginning. They told me that the name I call myself as a starseed healer, which that has really encompassed everything. And I'm so fortunate because I didn't even know what that was in the beginning either. I was like, okay, that sounds good. I'll put that down. But Val, go ahead and say what all you do and how you describe yourself and how you, I know because you just can't put yourself in a box, but just talk about all the things that you can do. And maybe go ahead and direct it more towards the website, kind of the readings and classes you do. If you could.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Give us the direction.
Oh, gosh. Well, here, my main thing that I'm doing right now is I channel. And of course, to channel, you have to be a psychic medium. It's just the thing goes hand in glove. And to do all that, you're going to be claircognizant. You're going to be empathic. And you're going to be clairaudient because you either hear the thought words in your head or you hear an audible voice. So a lot of people don't understand what clairaudience is. Really, you have to calm the ego mind down so that you can actually hear those words that are being channeled to you. And you have to make time for that. So those are some of the things that I do. But also I teach classes. I'm an Akashic record reader as well. I'm a Reiki master. And I do offer sessions on my website, dragonflycrystals.store. And also, I love crystals. I sell them on my website.
Yeah,
I can match you. Yeah, thank you. And I can match you to the crystal partner you should have if you don't see anything on my website that matches.
Interrupt on that for this question. How do you match a crystal to a person? Are you channeling the information? Are you going the Akashic records? Or are you encompassing all that?
All of that. Because when you hold the crystal, whatever, it could be a stone, it could be a crystal, whatever it is.
Just one of my favorites.
That those are, first of all, every single thing is alive on the earth, whether it's a rock, they have personality, they are a being, and you can connect and feel that energy and feel the job that they're here to do. And it will, when you're tuning into your client or whoever is looking for a crystal partner, you know who they will belong to by the resonance. You can feel that energy, that pull, that draw. So it isn't a conscious, oh, this, that, and the other thing. No, you actually feel that magnetic pull that puts two resonant frequencies together. And that's what makes a partnership.
Okay, I'm going to ask you another question about that then.
Yeah.
So when you're connecting somebody with their crystal, is that like a whole session, an hour session that you're connecting? Or is that like a 5-minute, 10-minute, whatever?
It's something that if somebody emailed me and said, I need something for myself, or I need something for my child, blah, 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 and this is what's going on, and, you know, can you match them up? I would take no more than 5 minutes doing that. It isn't hard to tune in and to get the right crystal partner for someone for a specific reason.
So
yeah.
If someone wants to connect, do they email you or do they do a session? How would they?
No, they don't. They can just, it's free. It's a free service.
Okay.
Unless I got 10,000 quotes, just email me. But, you know, it's not something that, you know, it's not going to be something you see on my website. I have thousands of crystals here, and I would find the right crystal for that person, for that situation. And there are also times when you might want to program a crystal for a particular reason or for a job. For someone, you find the crystal that resonates with them, and then you give that crystal that job to do for that person. So these are all things that you can do. Anyone can do it. It's not just
yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah, because I use crystals a lot on my Blair's Healing show. I mean, that's my big thing, is the energy from the crystal to the person, and it is intuitive which one I pick up, and it's always. You know, it always calls me, or they're telling me, my guys are going, it's that one that you need. And
it's going to be that resonance. You're going to feel it. And that's the highest way you can tell. Don't put intellect into it, but you just feel it. Yeah.
Really, because some of my stones, I don't even know the names of hardly. And they're going, okay, it's that one. Okay. All right, this is the one I need.
That's exactly right. So, you know, it's not that I do a lot of that. I mean, if people asked me, I would do that for them because I really want to match people up to their crystal partner. I don't just want it to go out to anyone. I'm not just selling crystals. And also, as far as my classes, I have channeling. I just started a 7-series channeling class, which I've heard a lot of people are enjoying it, and they're channeling right away. In the first class, they're already channeling because, of course, we can all channel. It's making the time and space to do it. So if you sign up for that class in the future, when I offer it again, you're going to be channeling right away. In the Akashic Record class, you connect to your Akashic Record masters and you channel them right away in that class. And we have practice breakout rooms, and you're doing it right away. Any of my classes, you're doing everything right away. It's immediate. In my meditation classes, you connect with your guides and get messages from them. It's immediate. So this is what I just want to say. There's nothing in the way anymore in this high vibrational energy coming in. We all can connect. So it just allows you to be able to do that in a confident way and see, oh, yes, I can do this. I am a channeler. I am able to connect with my guides and angels. And if you can do that, you are a psychic medium as well.
and an intuitive.
Right. You're all of the above and more.
All the above. Okay. Well, I want to get a little bit into your background.
Yeah.
I want to know how you start. Well, let's go before how you started in the metaphysical world. Let's go about your professional life before you even came into all this. Because, I mean, my professional life is so opposite of this life that, so I have a feeling that yours is very similar.
I actually spent many years as an executive assistant. One was for they were both, oddly enough, similar type industries, but one was a French company that was a gas, liquid gas company. And I worked in the corporate office as an executive assistant for the assistant controller. And then I went to San Francisco, where I said I'd never go. Of course, don't say never, because you will go. So I worked as an executive assistant for the controller for a big company, civil engineering firm, worldwide firm. And funny, I was in the Transamerica Pyramid Building toward the top. So I looked out over the bay. So,
oh, that was beautiful. You didn't like that area?
I did love San Francisco, but I lived about an hour and a half away and had to take what we call the train or BART. I had to go under the tunnel under the bay and ride that in. So I commuted to, it was a long process, but there I was doing that. So it wasn't the same, but I would take my spiritual practice to work with me, and I'd be doing energy work for the whole San Francisco Bay Area while I was there. So it was I was doing all of that at the same time.
So then how did you jump into the metaphysical world? How did that, when you're doing all this executive things, how did that come into play? Where did the metaphysical, or I realize mine has been with me all my life. I just didn't wake up to it until personally, it was 2020. I'm a late bloomer. And but I had always been a medium, just didn't recognize that. So how did that for you transpire?
I grew up with a mother who was very metaphysical, and of course we went to psychics, and we did yoga, and we did meditations, and we did all those things, and we weren't religious. We were spiritually minded. And so it wasn't surprising that early on, when I was a small child, I would see my angels, or who I thought were my angels, whether they were guides or angels, and they would ask me to do things for them. And things to protect other people, things to get me and them out of danger. As a small child, I was a cousin. My cousins lived next door, and I must have been about 5 years old. And I would follow their directions and do what they said. And I don't think I ever said to anyone, "Oh, my angels talk to me." It was just a normal thing. So,
in hindsight, I used to tell my sister about there's a ghost here, or this is here, or whatever. And I had, as a child, I had a wolf living under my bed. And
man,
she doesn't remember any of that. She's like, I don't remember every time. She totally blocked it all out. And I'm just going, wow, she really listened to me. And, we were in the same bedroom together.
She didn't want to be scared, and so she shut it all out. So,
probably. Yeah.
So anyway, so that was the very beginnings. But when I was about 7, I had my sister ran into the back of my bike. I crashed, and I split my chin open, and I immediately went out of my body and watched, just floating above my body, watching the neighbors come and grab me, get my dad, and drive me to the hospital. And I was floating above the whole time, watching the whole thing. And I was in euphoria. So apparently when they got me into the they'd talk to me and I'd have to come back into my body and answer them. And I'd like, just no. And I'd go back out really fast. But when they had me in the emergency room and they were stitching up my chin, I was out there in space.
I think that,
and, you know, when you're out of the body, I'm sorry, Gail, go ahead.
Well, I was just going, I think, I want to call it a defensive mechanism because I've done the exact same thing when I was in the accident, that I was out of my body experience, and everybody was going, "Why are you so calm? Were you not in your body?" You're not really experiencing it. You're just kind of watching it.
You don't experience anything like that. But I was so excited. I knew everything. I knew what I was here to do. I knew who I was. I knew who my parents were. I knew everything. I called it the secrets of the universe. And I came back in this little I might have been 6 or 7 years old. And I wanted to explain to them, hurry and explain. I was so excited to tell them. I was like, this feeling of bliss, oneness, unity, that unity consciousness, that feeling of connection to everything and being one, that bliss is what I came back with, that unbelievable feeling that it has never left me. It is so profound. And so I tried to explain it, but they thought I hit my head too hard. I was trying to tell them the secrets of the universe, but no one would. My dad looked at my mom, and my dad said, "I think she hit her head too hard." You come back in, and it couldn't be maintained, that information in that consciousness of that small child. I had no words to convey what I just learned. And so, but it wasn't just an out of the body experience. It's what people would have if they had an NDE.
Right.
Or, I had the bliss. I had you would want to live in that unbelievable energy. Yeah. So
then when did you start practicing the metaphysical? Did you retire from work, or how did that happen?
Well, first of all, when I was 20, I had the awakening.
Oh, okay.
Even though you're metaphysical, so that happened. And throughout all that time, I read every single metaphysical book you can name, and probably more that you can't even name. So I was always practicing, always. I would go to work and I would use my metaphysical knowledge to do my shadow work, to keep when my ego's triggered by someone, I would make sure that I stayed neutral and I only gave out love. And the transformation of all those events and what happened was like, wow. It just was mind-blowing. So good. Fast forward then to about 40 years old. Before then, I've always been a meditator. So I've been meditating all these years, getting channeling for myself, channeling, books and books of channeled information. But I never channeled for humanity or mankind. And then, I felt like it's my time to do more. So I learned reconnective healing. I learned the reconnection by Dr. Eric Pearl. I learned I became a Reiki master. I, did all these different things. But meanwhile, the Arcturians came in and they taught me, they gave me an activation and healing. That happened before all that. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting in my chair and it was happening. And I had this feeling like the ship was above my house. Anyway, so it was like I was sitting in the Great Pyramid, having like on a chair, and light was shining down, hitting the pineal gland all the way down. And it's a whole big process. I thought, oh man, I'm going to use this for others. So I did this activation. I called it the Eye of Horus activation, and I did it for many years.
Well, do you happen to have the sacred geometry activation cards?
No.
The reason why I'm asking you that is because I consider those my Arcturian cards. I'm going to show them to you.
Okay.
I think that's just sacred geometry. You got to get.
No, I don't have that. I'll try the sacred geometry activation cards.
Oracle cards, yes, and they're beautiful. But I consider these my Arcturian cards because whenever I'm dealing with an Arcturian, that these are the set of cards. So I think you should have this in your collection.
I'll get that. So, the Arcturians always spoke to me, and I have a lot of channeling even today from the Arcturians, and they're so advanced and so beautiful information comes through from them. But they were the first ones to come in and give me information and give me that healing technique. And so that was, it just launched from there. I started a website. I offered, I offered readings and I sold crystals. But then when my son passed away at 38 years old, that kind of put, for like 7 or 8 years, I just, kind of let everything go while I went through that grief. And then I had an Akashic record reading with someone, and that sort of showed me what I was really here to do. But that wasn't what got me out of the grief. A Buddhist practice where I got up every day at dawn and let go of my son and, did that releasing process. Finally, after about 42 days of doing that, I felt like a new person. Then it came, that was like 2018. From then on, it was like straight up.
Right.
It's like everything. Tarot card reading. Why do you want me to learn tarot? I have to learn tarot. Why am I learning? I took a medium class with Kevin Lewis, even though I was already in a meeting. Why do you want me? But I connected with all these people who I ended up working with. There's all these things that happened. And here I started this YouTube channel. And so it all kind of, the progression was 100 miles an hour. So now, it's like we're all on the dance floor now doing it, bringing it. And more and more people are coming online to do it. I was always there in the background doing my thing, but this was a bigger impetus, a bigger drive. And they're telling me, and I'm working on my book right now, they're telling me to get this book out of all these channelings that I've done.
My book has been going forever too. But Leah had a question for you. She says, did Val have any family with those gifts also, with your same gifts, she's asking?
I think my mother was extremely intuitive. And yeah, she definitely was. None other that I know of, because nobody ever talked about it.
Yeah, the same here. And it was my mother, and we didn't talk about it. And she used to get up like 4 o'clock in the morning, and she'd be just staring in space. And if I got up and go back, what was my mother doing? Now I realize she was connected. So, there's hindsight things that you see or remember. But let me see. I want to see what my next question. We talk about I'm going to ask you about your crystal shop, because I looked through it and it's beautiful. And your website, everything's beautiful. It looks so professional done. I mean, it looks so good.
You're complimenting me, the creator.
Complimenting you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Now, I saw that you had a lot of Lemurian crystals. So we were talking backstage about our Lemurian connection, our Mount Shasta connection. So do you want to go into what we were talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about Mount Shasta. And I was saying that during that time when I hit my 40s and then all of this stuff started to present in front of me. Oh, I've got to take this class. I got to do this. I got to do this. And I've got to do this. it just kept this impetus inside of me to do all this. One of those things was to go to Mount Shasta, and I would go sit and listen to this gal channel, Buddha Maitreya, and we'd sit in that Mount Shasta energy. It was pretty profound. As we drove up, I lived in California, Northern California. As we drove up to Shasta, and we came up and around the bend, when you start to see the mountain, we could feel just before that, the wall of energy hit us, this high vibrational frequency, and it would just knock us over, literally. And so that's what we did for like 2 years. Like every other week, we'd drive up there and do this. And then Dr. Gail and I were talking backstage about it over time. As you were there, you were in the energies, you were integrating the energies of the mountain, of Mount Shasta. Then you go back home or wherever, and you come back, and it's not those energies. You don't feel that wall of energy. And we discussed it. And what did we say?
I've said it was like 2 years of going to college when you're learning and absorbing that energy. So wherever I go now, because I've been released from the mountain, wherever I go, Mount Shasta's in me, that energy's in me. And I don't feel the change because that energy is going to be going with me. And Val spent 2 years also going back and forth. So it's like a 2 years after education that you absorb that energy and it's with you forever. So you take that energy for wherever you're going. Like I'm going back to South Carolina, so I'll be taking Mount Shasta energy with me.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Yes. So, yes, it'll be. I'll be hiding behind the corners again. For what I do, yeah. So I'll be taking that energy back there. So it's just fascinating when she was telling me it was 2 years for her and it's 2 years for me. And as I said, I felt like I've gone off to college.
Yeah,
I got off to college to learn this. So, so I thought that's fascinating. So anybody who wants the Mount Shasta energy, it's going to take you about 2 years to absorb it, and then you have it forever.
Yeah, that's exactly my experience. So, yeah, I loved how you put it into words, though, because it all made sense.
I think that was how I finally had to explain it to people, is that I feel like I'm going off to college, that they understood. It kind of clicked when I was going, I'm going to Mount Shasta for 2 to 3 years, and this is what they're telling me I'm going to do. And then they're all like, what? I'm going, well, I'm going to college. To learn. That's how you got to look at it. And that's exactly what it's been. It's just been a very learning experience, and more, I would say, absorbing the energy, because it was the first that I met the elementals, because I'm the galactic girl. I'm up here, and then all of a sudden, where are these elementals coming from?
I started to see the elementals in my yard when I'd drive away, and I'd look up and see, like, in trees, and I'd be like, what? Did I just really see that? I could see the face and everything. And now I connect every day. When I'm in meditation, especially, I connect to the elementals. And I've had some very interesting experiences. They really are loving, beautiful beings of light that want us to connect with them. We're part of them because we're Earth beings. We're in this meat suit that is made of the Earth.
They came in when I was in the bedroom and woke me up, and they yelled, "Where are the elementals?" And I thought, this is the noisiest bunch of people I've ever met, And and they woke me up, and I, how you're going, okay, I'm just dreaming, let me go back to sleep. Where are the elementals? Okay. Probably I'm dreaming, let me go back to sleep. Where are the? You go, okay, I'm awake, I'm listening.
They really want to heal the relationship between the elementals and humanity over all this stuff that went before, where people were really treated like witches and all kinds of weird stuff if they connected and could understand and do things with the elementals. So this was back in Ireland or wherever it was practiced all around the world. So this is a healing for everyone to connect. And I have to say, I have had some pretty interesting experiences as it got toward St. Patrick's Day, which has nothing to do with the elementals. I had this leprechaun vision come into my awareness while I was starting my meditation. I thought, and then I realigned, I called in the highest vibration of truth and light, and there was that leprechaun. But then, he wanted to give me gifts for all the love I send them every day and all this stuff. And so I accepted the gifts and all of that. But later, instead of this kind of a leprechaun-looking being, who they say are male fairies.
Really?
That's what, well, if you can believe Wikipedia, I have no explanation except that this, instead of the leprechaun form, he looks like a prince.
Oh, wow.
This being that is gorgeous, like the Beauty and the Beast transformation. And it's this beautiful, beautiful being. And he is now who shows up when I connect to the elementals. It's interesting, the transformation of that.
Well, I don't know if you've heard about my elementals. I've met they asked me to work with them. So the first ones were the gnomes, and I had to do some work for them. Yeah. And then the next ones were the ones, and I don't have any idea, because it was these little bitty people who showed up on fruits and vegetables. Mm-hmm. And again, these are the ones that woke me up. No, it was the gnomes that were loud. They woke me up, and they were riding, like one was riding a banana, one was riding a pea, and the one that's riding a pea was like the leader. And of course, you think when you're dreaming, you're like, surely this is not happening. And what are they? And they're the ones that kept waking me up and going. And of course, they're around all the time because you're sitting there. And I thought, oh, this is a dream. I need to eat more fruits and vegetables. This is what this dream's about. So, as I said, I keep going back to sleep. But yeah, my journey with the elementals have been quite a journey. But I want to go back to your meditation practice, because so many people struggle with meditation. And then I meditate every day, and everybody kind of looks at me and asks me how I do it. But mine is not structured very well. But it is how I connected with my galactic beings. First, I connected with my dad, and then it went to the galactic beings. And it went my dad, angel, then the galactic beings.
Right.
And so your meditation practice seems to be a little bit more structured than mine.
No. Well, I don't know if you call it structured, but all I'm doing is asking you, I get you in by a breath technique of pranayama, my own kind of technique. You get into the higher frequencies, you ground and you connect from your heart out to the elementals kingdom. Once you've grounded into Mother Earth, and you connect to divine source, and then you claim, yes, and I am divine source, because we're all that one being of light. Every one of us, as we integrate back into divine source, it's only that divine source energy, all that is. And so you're standing in your power, and you're sending light out to humanity. And then you go back up to your crown chakra, and you connect. I connect to divine source. I connect to all my guides and angels. Do you have a message for me? Do you have a message for me? I connect to my Akashic Record Masters, asking if they have a message. I connect to Yeshua and ask if he has a message for humanity or for me. It's just like you. I'm going through the list of people I talk to and get messages from. So it's not a meditation in the old ancient sense of sitting there oming and you just sit there and om the whole time. No, it's active meditation where you call in all your guides and angels to have the conversation. Yeah. You're connecting and you're having the communication. That's communication time. So, yeah.
And I have special places for each one. Like my dad, I meet here. This one, I meet there. I have special places. But I've got to get into your galactic stuff. This is what this channel is all about. A safe place to talk about our galactic things, our ETs, our aliens, whatever you want to call them. So tell me about your galactic journey.
Well, first it started with the Arcturians and them showing up in my meditation and giving me that activation. Mm-hmm. It activated my pineal gland and a whole bunch of other things. It was a big, long process, and it was so high vibrational, I was shaking from the energy coming in. It was like, oh man. Yeah. So that was one thing. And then a little bit later, I was learning about the Hathors, and I was connecting to them. And all of a sudden, I could feel, like I'd bend over at the sink and I'd be washing my face, and I could feel the Hathors standing behind me.
Can you tell people what the Hathors are?
The Hathors, well, you can see them on the Egyptian statues, and in Dendera Temple in Egypt, where I've been. The Hathors are drawn on there. I wish I had a picture right now, but they're like, kind of like, they say cow-like beings, but no, they're not like that. They're beings who use sound and sound frequency, vibration, highly advanced, just like the Arcturians. And so Google that and Google Hathor, and you'll see the picture of them as the Egyptians drew them on the temple walls. That's how they are. But they're very tall, and they showed up behind me, and their presence was with me for a very long time.
First time I heard about them was through another oracle deck, my Starseed oracle deck. And that's where I first, and they're on that deck.
I got that too.
Yeah. And so that card's in there. And so that's what I was like, well, let me look this up. But that's not one that people talk about that much or talk about them. So what was your connection to them?
So I think as I was doing this work, listening to higher frequency music from this one particular person who was sending out free energy. This was before I even connected with YouTube many years ago. They would give you free through email. You could click on audio of this sound vibration and frequency. It's somebody who's on, I think they live on Orcas Island in the San Juan Islands, off Washington State. But it's profound, very high vibrational. And that put me into this other state. And I was connecting. They called it, they were working with the Hathors at that time. And that's who showed up for me. It was profound. As far as consciously working, I ended up doing things with someone on the other side of the world, someone who lived in Hong Kong, and we did grid work. She traveled all over the world, including Saudi Arabia and everywhere. And we would do grid work. We'd set the time on the clock, and I would do these activations, these Eye of Horus activations, but on the grid. And so we did that for like 2 years, activating all the places she traveled to and everywhere she was. So that's the stuff that I did. Meanwhile, I used to paint paintings of people's energy as they come in. As you decide to incarnate, I can see your energy flow in, and I see it in symbols. I see it in color and what you're here to do. And it comes in and creates a picture, not of a human being, but it might be of temples. It might be of the way in which you bring in a lot of the orange, passion, red energy to use, a lot of the yellow intellect, or it might be all blue and spiritual energy in strands of DNA and a whole bunch of different, the spiral, all kinds of sacred geometry, tons of symbols, and it all made sense. But I just can't do all those things because that takes a long time.
So look at Rossi. She's put down there. The Hathors were often depicted as a cow, symbolizing her maternal and celestial aspect. Although her most common form was a woman wearing a headdress of cow horns and a sun disk.
So you know how you see the disc here?
Right.
You'll see the Hathors drawn that way. The disc, the solar disc, and you'll see like this thing come down like a headdress, or and their ears are always like this. But but it is really about high vibrational sound and frequency. They're extremely advanced beings, and they will work with you if you call them in. Absolutely. And I think they were getting me ready for some whatever work. Well, probably for today. I don't know. I work with so many beings now that come in, and I'm on the Council of One, and I get a lot of channeling from that.
So what is the Council of One?
The Council of One. There's the Council of Light, who is the Council of One.
Well, I mean,
let me put it to you this way. When I'm in meditation and I'm saying who's, and I call in divine source energy and I'm getting a message and I say, well, who is this? As I'm writing information down, channeling it, and they say, we are the Council of Light. And then they say, we are the Council of One. And I am on the Council of One. But the Council of One is a coalescence of everything. In other words, there's a Council of 9, there's a Council of 13, there's a Council of whatever. And I have a lot of friends on the different councils.
Now, let me just stop you right there, Val, because I started off, one of my first spaceships was the Ashtar Medical One. Is the collective. And then, so it's Ashtar Medical One, and the one stands for the collective. So your one sounds like to me stands for the collective. Is that correct?
The collective, correct. It is the collective. You're giving me the chills. So I was getting information and connecting to Ashtar Command from the time I was a teenager.
Well,
it's been that long. Yeah. And I've had that Ashtar Command, like I knew the Galactic Federation was real back then. And I mean, it was a strong and powerful connection and knowing of all of that. It's hard to describe to people who don't know it.
Well, I mean, of course, I have a strong connection with Arcturians because I have Arcturian DNA. And also here at Mount Shasta, when I came here, they were showing myself as an Arcturian going inside the mountain, teaching them how to do some healing practices. And I'm going, me? How am I going to be teaching y'all anything? So I'm very connected with Arcturians also. Obviously, you are too. Yeah. And the Athena, which we're on, Susie's in charge of that spaceship now. That is an Arcturian spaceship, even though it's all different types of species on that spaceship. And it is a medical and military spaceship together. And that handles traumas, big incidents that happen on Earth. And it's also in charge of North America and South America on that part. And so that is definitely, and do you have any memories of going on the Arcturian spaceship? Because it's absolutely my favorite spaceship.
I don't think I was ever physically on any Arcturian spaceship. I think they were there, but I don't think I ever, energetically I may have been, but I don't have any recall of that. But in my physical body, I don't think I've ever been actually on a spaceship.
Well, I'm being told right now that you're going to start remembering. For some reason, I'm activating you.
I do have a feeling of being. I was waking up And I felt myself drop down into my bed like somebody had a hold of me under the arms kind of thing. And I'm dropping down onto the bed and it felt like I'd gone and was coming back.
I think you're
Everyone I've ever asked about that
I think
has not agreed with me on that, because I feel like that was an event.
right. It was an event, and you're going to start remembering these things now. But are you ready to take a few questions? Because there's a lot of questions that Susie has been highlighting, and we're just going to be yabbering the whole show away without answering some of these people's questions that they want to know. So, Susie, you want to bring up some questions that are kind of related to, more of questions generally. We'll take in cards, but let's do some messages that are kind of general. And so you want to go ahead and take that, any messages from her guides, in cards, guides?
Yeah. Let me just look at that.
Yeah, actually, I pulled out the Moon Magic cards, and I'm going to pull out one of this cards here because the moon was just unbelievably beautiful.
It is. Yep, absolutely. Well, I'm really getting, Ankar, a portal opening for you. Beautiful, beautiful energy. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards and wild cards. And I do feel that for you. That's the first thing that came in, is you're having expansion during this eclipse. This is expanding you. Allow it to happen and let go of what no longer serves you, because that's the feeling that they're trying to give. And you will get messages. You will receive messages about
this.
That
goes along with that.
Yeah.
This is what you're supposed to be thinking. I am magnetic to what I want. I repel what I do not want. So, Inkar, looks like to me, that you're getting ready to expand, and you know exactly how you're going to expand. You know exactly what feels right and what doesn't feel right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. All right, Lepo. Hi, Val. Nice to meet you. Please tell me what my crystal partner is. Well, I love that question, because I would like to see.
I really see you. You know, I see you with a Lemurian, first of all. And I absolutely also see you with a tangerine quartz, a little tangerine quartz, because I feel like you have a lot of creative energy. That creative energy, it needs a release and wants to be amplified so that you can bring in a whole bunch of new ideas. And these things are wanting to come in. It's like connecting what's coming in and grounding it into the earth with that tangerine quartz.
I'm
going
to be selfish, and you tell me what stone I need. What stone are you seeing for me?
For you?
Yes.
Oh my God. I see it.
I have so many of them. I won't go. Which one?
Well, I really like Larimar for you.
Larimar. Okay.
Yeah, I really like Larimar for you, but I also see you with what's that white selenite? What is that stuff?
Yeah.
And I see you with that, but also a crystal city. You know how you see the groupings? I see like you need a whole village.
You're talking about
this is how much energy you have coming in, and this is how much energy they can work with you,
right?
Because you have such big energy. They're showing me a whole group through a cluster, the crystal clusters. That
Lemuria is a crystal city.
Yeah, there you are. There you are. You're very Lemurian. I'm getting the chills.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they're the ones that brought me out here to Mount Shasta. And they're the ones also, I'm going back to the East Coast, and I get a year off, and then I'm going to be heading to the Lemurians, wherever they are on the East Coast. I'm not sure where they are. Do you know, Val, where they are on the East Coast? Where the Lemurians
I'll tell you, if you listen to the people who talk about space arcs, they're saying there's a space arc in the Atlantic Ocean So they're saying that anywhere you are near the Atlantic Ocean, you're going to be connecting to that arc. I think you have the DNA that activates a lot of the arc. So you're going to be called to be over there doing that work. That is something, just your nearness to it. You might have dreams and you might end up going there in some way, shape, or form.
It's actually the whales that are calling me there.
And the whales.
Yeah, the whales are calling me there.
I did a lot of work with the whales in San Francisco too, when I was doing my work, my dharma.
I see Jonathan Daly saying the Lemurians brought him to Hawaii. Wow, that was nice.
And I always say this, and people disagree. I always say, Jonathan, that Hawaii is full of the Lemurian energy. It's like it's Lemuria, and everybody contradicts me and says, "Oh no, it's Atlantis." No, it's Lemurian.
Well, I've been to Atlantis, and Atlantis is off the Fiji Islands because I was out there, and so Lemuria is Hawaii here. You know, and there's one place on the East Coast also that the Lemurians are, and I don't know where they are. And they're also they travel in the cave systems, which when Terry and I are on together, she and I, just like you and I, we just come up with all this information coming out. And that's where we discovered that Lemurians travel in the cave system. So they're everywhere. And they seem to be following the healers. They're interested in the healers. They're following the healers. And so so she's got a cave system around where she's at. So she's seeing them all the time. And so anyway, but I don't know about the East Coast. You don't think about the East Coast being Lemuria or any kind of metaphysical, even though you're talking about the ark and, you know, and I know how many different things are in the ocean because I've been to a lot of them.
Yeah.
And because they even threw me a map of, I think there's 3 places off of Florida and 2 places off North and South Carolina, which that was way back when I drew the map of where their location,
I keep hearing, Dr. Gail, if you build it, they will come. So what they're saying is you go there and they will come. They'll show up where you're at. So it's you go where you need to go and they will be there. That's what I hear.
That's good because I want the ocean. I'm ready to see some warm water. Put my toes in it.
Oh man, I bet.
Now the Pacific Coast, I think those beaches and everything are more beautiful, but they're not inviting you.
No.
You go swimming and you don't go wading, you don't go playing, you know, whereas
how many times have I been in the ocean living in California by the ocean?
I haven't either. I used to be in here.
I go to Mexico to do it. I go to Maui. I go other places to stick my toes in.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next question.
All right.
Hey, Liz and all, messages from gods. Okay. I'm going to pull up my Lemurian deck.
I feel like, that's beyond Lemuria. Did you
have this? This is my very first deck that I bought. When people say buy a deck that you connect with, well, I thought I was going and buying tarot cards, and these were the cards I bought. And
I love those.
They're absolutely beautiful. And of course, what is it? Why would I pick Lemuria? I mean, look, it was just for sure it's what I was supposed to connect with, but at that time I'm going, these are not the tarot cards I'm supposed to be getting. Anyway, but I love them, and just dropped. Oh, that's my lotion. And the card I'm pulling is Trust Your Innocence. This is the back of those cards.
Oh, beautiful.
They're beautiful. And these cards have the chakras in them. These cards are really great.
Gorgeous.
So Trust Your Innocence. So I'm going to look in the book a little bit more about that, trusting your innocence. But I think that kind of speaks its own words. It has some more childlike behavior. It's this truth, trusting yourself, being real with people, knowing the difference between intuition and paranoia, uncensored feelings, returning to innocence. again, I think it feels like you're supposed to go back to your innocence, to more playful time, and when you were more intuitive and you knew when you saw somebody, if I trust them or I don't trust them. And I think this is asking you to tap back into that time where you're extremely intuitive. So trust your innocence. It's going back to your childhood when you didn't have all these filters. So just start getting rid of those shields and whatever, and go back to trusting your own self. So
yeah, I love that message. That's a beautiful message. And I get activated earth. So this is all the sacred places all around the earth. And it says power places, ley lines, trust where you're led. It's like a message for Dr. Gail.
Exactly. I never going, and I needed that card coming out to California, because taking an East Coast Southern girl and saying, pack up, get rid of everything and head to California, Mount Shasta. It's like this part going back is easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Familiar.
But for Liz and I got the golden children. And I feel when I saw this card for you, it says inner child tenderness, innocence, and rare gifts. This corresponds exactly with what Dr. Gail was saying about what it's calling you forth to do, to play and enjoy yourself, but have that big picture thinking, really open up, Pleiades energy, visionary, inspired ideas. And I feel like you are getting into that place energetically where you are going to have some profound openings, and you are going to see things in a whole different way, a higher perspective. So I think that's just beautiful for you. And I think when they talk about the power places, they're asking you in your heart and in your energy field, connect to that. Everything is on the etheric web. Everything is connected. You can connect to all those power spots, and they do something different for you and will activate something in you, and you will activate something in those power spots. Machu Picchu, Stonehenge, the Great Pyramids, all these different places all around the world. So I encourage you to do that. Thank you, Liz and I.
Okay, well, let's take one last question.
Okay.
Hey, Janet, can we request to work with the Arcturians, or does it have to be our own life plan? Wow, what a powerful question, and a good question. I have never asked to work with anybody specific, but I think you're already connected with them. So I think that's why you're asking the question. I think you're probably already working with them. Let me see. Yes, you are. You're already working with them. Is what I'm hearing. So it is on your life plan. You're connected to the Arcturians, and you don't need to request it. You're already doing it. So what do you have, Val?
I would say the same thing. What came to my mind is, if you think it, so shall it be. So as you thought about connecting to the Arcturians, change that question around. I'm connecting to the Arcturians, because that's what you're saying and that's what you're doing. It's already in your awareness to connect. They wouldn't even be in your thoughts if that wasn't so.
Right. They're going like, here, talk to us. We're putting thoughts in your head.
That's exactly right.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. It has been a great show. Val, you have been wonderful.
Oh,
and
thank you.
Saturday, we'll be doing the Solaris Healing Center at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 12 o'clock Eastern time. And so anybody who needs some healing or has some medical issues or metaphysical issues, join us at 9 o'clock for the Solaris Healing Center. And Val, what do you have coming up next?
Coming up next, what's today? Sisters of the Mystical Tarot.
What is that?
That's at 5:30. And before that, Reveal the Future meditation with the cool crone. You're going to want to be there for that. It's a world Visiting a beautiful new world.
When is that? When are they both open?
That is at 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Today?
So, yeah. So 7 p.m. Eastern. And the Sisters of the Mystical Tarot is 5:30 Pacific time. And so 8:30 Eastern time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Susie, for your help. Thanks, all the people, for joining us. Thanks, moderators, keeping this a safe place for everybody to be able to talk. And we will see y'all later. All right. Bye-bye.